You want to talk rookies?
Yeah.
So we had an idea. I don't know where it came from. Top 5 rookies so far. As you and I talked through them, we said, well, Jaden Daniels is on our list.
Yep.
Brock Bowers is on our list. We're talking Bowers is going to break tight end records. Daniels looks unbelievable so far. So let's say they're the best so far as rookies. Brock Bowers leads all rookies with his 47 receptions. Raiders are struggling, but he looks like maybe their best player already.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he looks sensational. He's not just performing well for a rookie. I mean, he's performing well for any tight end, any player, period. I mean, his numbers are nuts. He is the number one target on that offense, and one of the better players in the NFL. Forget rookies.
And then, Jaden Daniels, we know. We've talked a lot about him looking outstanding. So let's say they're 1 and 2 on our top 5 rookie list, and then I'll let you go, and then I'll give you the rest of mine.
Yeah, with those being the clear, I think, top 2, I think the rest, you get a couple of guys that are probably, or should be, I think, in the list, and then it gets very debatable where you could have a lot of guys that have been quite impressive. I think the third best guy, even though he's missed a couple of games, has been Malik Nabers. I mean, for all the sort of concerns of, hey, how come Marvin Harrison hasn't hit the ground running? Why doesn't he look as amazing as we thought he would? A large part of it is because you contrast him directly with Malik Nabers, who looks like the next one of these instant superstar wide receivers that the second he got onto the field, you're like, the explosiveness, the quick twitch, the body contortion, all that stuff that we saw at LSU immediately translates, and he's the Giants' number one option. Now, his season might get derailed a little bit by Andrew Thomas going down, and suddenly the Giants just don't have a functional offense. But when it was working, Nabers looked amazing.
Yeah, he absolutely looks the part. I treated this a little differently. It wasn't a pure ranking for me. I kind of saw yours and was like, I want to mix up a few different names here. But Nabers has been unbelievable. And I think the way you positioned it, it's kind of like as soon as Jaden Daniels had 3 good games, people were like, whoa, should we rethink who went number 1 overall between Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams? Now Caleb Williams looks a lot better. Like, it's too early to tell. But that's how good Nabers has looked, is that this isn't even revisionist history. There were a lot of people around the league who said Nabers is wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
Talked to a QB coach around the league who said he's the best receiver prospect he's scouted. So this isn't a surprise. He's just kind of backed it up and looked as advertised for the Giants.
Yeah, no, he has. He's looked absolutely spectacular. And, yeah, it was a sort of 1-1A type of – I mean, we were saying, look, any of the 3, and Odunze was sort of in that conversation as well, though I think was a clear 3 relative to the other 2. But any of those 3, I think, would have been wide receiver 1 in most draft classes, and they just happened to all rock up at the same time.
Trying to figure out what I did wrong to get this emoji in our chat here.
Nice. Cool.
What did I do?
Well, you figure that out, and then...
Are you going 3, 4, 5, or do you want me to give you my 3?
No, give us your 3.
I'm going to say Joe Alt, the right tackle for the Chargers. You know, a lot of I think he's been the best of the rookie tackles. All of them are moving sides, and we talked about this as a big storyline this entire season. Left tackle's moving to right tackle's moving to left tackle. Alt looks outstanding. He's almost my size, is like 6'9", but he still, fires out low. Zone blocking looks really good. Run blocking has been fantastic, and smooth in pass protection. So he's taken to the move to right tackle.
Yep.
And looks really good right now.
No,
and again, the debate between Joe Alt, like it was Joe Alt went 5, Nabers went 6. You could watch the Chargers offense and say, man, what would Malik Nabers do with Justin Herbert? You can say that, but I'm not saying they made the wrong move at all. I think Alt is going to be really good for a long time at right tackle for them.
Yeah, and that's still a very real debate to be had. Like, they have a crying need for wide receiver, and a guy like Nabers I think would absolutely move the needle, but obviously it would come at the sacrifice of going from Joe Alt to who knows what at right tackle if they hadn't made that move.
All right, give me number 4.
Jared Verse. I think he was one of the better. I think there was an argument that he was the second best pass rusher in the draft. We had Latu as the clear number 1. So far, I think through 7 weeks, Verse has been the best, the most impressive of these rookie edge rushers. He's just been consistently dominant, productive. That power that he brings, the sort of violence that he plays the game with, that absolutely translates. I mean, that guy's looking for He's looking to go and beat his guy up physically, and then if he can make a pass rush move along the way, fine. But he's coming after you.
I put Verse at 5. And again, I'm not trying, like Malik Nabers isn't on my list. I was just trying to mix up a few different names. Nabers would be up there. I put Verse at 5. The violence you mentioned is right. And I have a knack on Twitter, trying to got to avoid being old takes exposed. Right? So instead of making declarative statements, you ask questions. You don't say this player is.
That doesn't stop it.
You say, is this player?
Yeah.
And you raise your voice a little bit and you put a question mark.
Doesn't stop it.
And so then what happens is, like I posed the question around draft time. I said, are we sleeping on Jared Verse maybe being edge 1 in this class? Question mark. That's how you do it. And now I can go back to that and say, see,
yeah,
I hinted at this.
See, people don't
and
make
look
the
at him looking like edge 1 right now. I'm right.
People don't make the distinction. If you put it out there, even if there's a question mark at the end, they're just like, see, he said it. He said he was edge 1.
Yeah. No,
so that you'll get all take exposed for just asking the question.
No, that's true.
Even if
I asked a question, all I did was ask a question.
So asking the question can be anything from I believe this and I'm asking the question to I don't believe this at all and I'm just asking how many people think this. But all takes exposed will get you either way.
Well, they won't get me on this one because I posed the question: is Jared Verse being slept on as edge 1? I think we've been a little disappointed with our guy Laiatu Latu as far as his down-to-down consistency. Dallas Turner has been out of the lineup quite a bit. Jared Verse over there with 27 pressures per our friends over at PFF. You can get all that data, part of your PFF Plus subscription. But he's got 10 more pressures than any other rookie, as Ben Allen has written up on the screen there.
And I don't think, it's early, right? It's not like we're declaring any one of these guys.
Oh, no, you said it.
No.
This is it. Jared Verse, best edge.
But through 7
rookie,
games,
no matter what.
I think Verse has definitely been the best of them.
Yeah, he's my 5. I put Brian Thomas Jr. at 4. So impressed with him. We broke him down probably more than any receiver. When you watched him at LSU, huge, big playability. I thought he lacked some consistency. Was kind of a breakout player last year. But, I think he's answered a lot of the questions that we had, which is intermediate routes. Can he do that? Is he going to consistently get open? Is he going to catch the ball consistently enough? And he's just been open down the field quite a bit. Those 513 receiving yards that lead all rookies, not to do the what-if game, but, you could easily tack on 60 more to that if, Trevor Lawrence didn't miss him on one where he was open against the Texans a few weeks ago. So I think he's been outstanding. It's an interesting dynamic in Jacksonville because they're throwing the ball down the field so much, and we kind of anticipated that. And the offense has been better in recent weeks, but inconsistent because they don't have the short and intermediate threat as much. Evan Ingram, I think, stepping up there, but Thomas being a vertical threat and being better than we expected, he deserves to be on this list.
Yeah, he looks so good. I mean, the vertical threat stuff is clear. That was what we expected him to bring to the table. It's everything else that's been more impressive to me, like his route running chops, his ability to laterally move around, the separation on the underneath things it's not more impressive because the vertical stuff is really good, but it's like that's the area that was a question mark relative to what he had on tape in college, and he just looks spectacular at all that stuff. So, yeah, Brian Thomas Jr., I think, looks amazing so far.
So he's my 4. Verse is my 5. We already talked about him. So who's your 5 in this top 5 here?
Dominic Puny, the 49ers offensive guard, a Mike Renner guy.
We are obligated, I think, for the rest of Puny's career. Anytime we talk him up, we need to give Renner the shout-out.
Now, Renner has a tendency to love a random mid-round, Polynesian heritage type of offensive lineman. Yeah. So it doesn't always work out, but this one he nailed. He really liked Dominic Puni from Kansas, and he looks great so far for the 49ers. And again, that was, for the several year in a row, you're like, this 49ers offensive line could be a problem. But Puni steps in, completely solidifies the right guard spot. He's been very good. Hasn't given up a sack or a hit yet this season. Has given up a little bit of pressure, but he's been strong as a run blocker. He's been good in pass protection. He's been intelligent. Like, you can see him sifting through assignments, which is ever more important given today's NFL of all these simulated pressures and, guys up at the line. Are they coming? Are they dropping? Can you make a quick adjustment after the snap? He looks really good. The
toughest part about his evaluation, and I talked to Renner about this, was he never never really had a traditional pass set. He was playing left tackle at Kansas State, and it was just a lot of quick game type of like quick sets, and that was tough to project. But I remember he reminded me. Cody Whitehair was another guy that Renner loved coming out of Kansas State, and it was the grip strength, and it was like when he locks on, there's something there type of deal. That was where I watched Puny last year. I was like, man, he's got impressive strength, and the move to guard I think makes a lot of sense for him, and great addition for the Niners so far this year. Mm-hmm. And then there's a whole bunch of other rookies that we debated that were close, really good seasons, impressive. But yeah, it's a pretty good crop in this top 5. I mean, Caleb Williams should be discussed in there too, I think, as he's turning the corner here. But with a slow start, it's tough to say, oh, he's been one of the 5 best.
Yeah, I mean, 5 is
positionally agnostic here.
5 is a very short list, particularly when 2 of the names are essentially taken up with the 2 guys that have been genuine superstars. But like other names that I had out there as guys that could easily have made a top 5. Zach Frazier from the Pittsburgh Steelers, the latest in the succession line of Hall of Fame centers. Yeah, Evan Williams, who we talked about, the amazing work he did one-on-one against Kyler Murray in the flat, Green Bay Packers.
A lot of big
defensive
plays
back.
for him so far.
Tavondre Sweat, all 366 pounds of him on the defensive line for Tennessee. Like, there have been a lot of impressive players. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.